The injury list that's come out already on the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels is listed, Cakes.
He's got a red Q next to his name.
He was limited in practice.
Why are you wasting your breath like he's not going to play?
I'm not suggesting he's not going to play. I'm just saying he was actually listed on the list.
Of course.
Limited. There was a bunch of guys that were actually limited, including Tyler Biotish with a thumb. Brandon Coleman practiced some, so that's good. So he's progressing through the concussion protocol. Jaden limited. They're just going to rest it. JP Finley asked him yesterday in his presser, is this just kind of basically a pain tolerance thing that you're going to have to manage, until it gets better? And he basically said yes. They asked Dan Quinn the same thing, said yes. Cleveland Farrell limited, but that's good. He was back. Brian Robinson and Olamide Zacchaeus Cakes, Oz, both limited yesterday with hamstring injuries. Now, I'm assuming most of these guys are going to be a go. Still up in the air, Cornelius Lucas, who did not practice yesterday with his ankle. Frankie Louvu has a shin. I can't imagine him not playing. And then Zach Ertz, they just gave him veteran old man rest day.
Wednesdays for the oldsters, they generally get to just sit it out.
Frankie Louvu, I told my wife there's no chance Frankie Louvu has Halloween.
Because he lives near you.
He lives right down the street.
Right.
But there's no way he's got it decorated, the house decorated for Halloween.
You were wrong.
I went down there. He's got a huge ghost in his front yard.
Okay.
A ghost.
Making it a big deal.
Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's like a mummy.
Yeah.
And he's got his whole house is decorated.
Right.
I was shocked.
He's in, in the spirit of Halloween.
I was shocked.
Good for Frankie.
Frankie Louvu loves Halloween.
We don't
Like
even
that.
have a pumpkin.
You don't have a pumpkin. And he's got a
We
huge
got
mummy.
nothing. We got nothing?
You have the
candy.
You have the grinchiest house on the block for Halloween.
So Jaden obviously is the rookie that's turning everyone's heads. We talk about it like every week. Orlovsky, Chase Daniel. I saw was Ryan Clark saying something like he's one of the best rookies ever? Something like he was going crazy
Wouldn't
about
doubt it.
Stephen A. Smith's been high, like all the talking heads. But you know what? Jaden is the most impactful. There's no question about it. Rookie for the Commanders. But man, when you take a step back, and I think Nikki Jabal did this for our article with the Post, all of the rookies, by and large, have been pretty darn good contributors. Johnny Newton obviously had a huge game. PFF had him rated at almost like a 90. I think they credit him with his first sack. He had the fumble recovery. Sanistril has been, a key contributor from day one. And I think he's gotten better, as the weeks have progressed. I don't think he's always shined, but he's been very versatile. Sinnott has contributed. Brandon Coleman, has contributed. Luke McCaffrey, I think they have high expectations for him. Jordan McGee coming back. I mean, this draft class, now I know every team wants to hype up their own draft guys and give them opportunities. Right now, it's looking like an incredible
Looks
draft
pretty good,
class.
yeah.
I'm
Highlighted by
surprised
the number 2
McCaffrey
pick.
doesn't have more catches just based on the PFF separation grades. He's one of the best guys in the NFL in terms of getting separation.
They're very high on him.
Well, he
Very
probably doesn't
high.
have a lot of catches because they just major in the running game.
And you're going to
Outside
throw to McLaurin more.
Outside of Terry McLaurin.
Besides McLaurin,
those guys aren't going to have a lot of
little bit
catches.
to Brown and Zach.
And Zach
yeah.
Ertz, he's getting a lot of targets of late.
How many targets does McCaffrey have? Let's see.
He's got 12 catches.
So like 20 targets?
13 targets.
Yeah, I would expect more.
Now, this is kind of interesting. Just seeing how some other teams are reacting to our guys that are out there. So Jamin Davis, we talked about it yesterday, signed by the Packers in their practice squad. Braden Daniels was picked up, I believe, by the Eagles. Now, he was earlier picked up by the Chargers.
Okay.
They released him 5 days later. And I think the Eagles just signed him. I didn't realize this, Cakes. Dax Milne signed with Carolina.
Ah,
And
good for him.
Riley Patterson, remember he was the kicker that we had in camp? He wasn't very good.
I do remember
I think he
him,
missed
yes.
a few in the
he was
preseason
here
games.
for I want to say 7 days or 7 to 10 days.
Did the Jets sign
The
him?
Jets signed him.
Because
We
their
kinda
line's
swapped,
going
'cause
IR.
We got Seibert or Seibert.
Seibert,
whatever it
yeah.
is. And they took Patterson. They took our trash. So good luck with that. Hope it works out for you. Obviously, big game this week with the Giants And
Want the updated numbers on
Sure,
FanDuel?
I'd love to know that.
I'd like to hear these.
All right. The FanDuel number, Commanders laying 3.5, -190 on the money line, totals 44 and a hook.
Ooh, that's creeping up because I think it was
It was a
43 or 43 and a half a few days ago.
It was. It's moved up
Expecting
a
a
point.
little more scoring.
This is a matchup, Cakes, that's, it's got to be right up there as old as any. They first met in 1932 when the Commanders were called the Boston Braves. They've met a total of 185 times. Who do you think holds the all-time record?
Who has won more
I'll
games?
say Washington.
I'm going to say the Giants.
The
have won more
Giants. The
games.
Giants have pretty much dominated. 108
really?
to 72 with 5 ties. They've even dominated lately, which is painful when you think about it. They're 8-3-1 in their past 12. So we're 3-8-1 against the Giants in our last 12 meetings. Daniel Jones is going to remain the starter. We know that Daybill's been, I think, frustrated at times, clearly. Malik Neighbors is back. So we'll have
He was back
last
this
week.
past week. Yep.
So we'll have another sort of reunion of those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, we talked.
Tyrone Tracy is in the concussion protocol.
Correct. And he's
So-
basically overtaken Devin Singletary
Yeah, he's
for
had
the
a couple
number
big
one
games,
job
but he
there.
may not go.
We talked about this yesterday. The last time that a Washington NFL franchise, the Redskins, began a season 7-2 was 1996. I'll give you some nuggets about that. That was Norv in his third season. That was Gus and Heath kind of going back and forth. Of course, both were selected in the 94 draft. Schuler went top 5. Gus went in the 7th round. Gus was a guy that used to come on our show.
Love Gus.
Gus was great. Actually, Gus has been on the show in the last 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
That's
Is
correct.
he still doing that brain thing? He had like some.
I don't know. I don't know
remember
what.
he had like
Yes.
a brain app that he was into.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You
You're
know,
right.
whatever that
I
was.
feel like
can't
he's
remember the
done
name
some
of it.
commentating.
They were 7-2, but they finished, as we talked about yesterday, 9-7. They lost 4 of their final 5 games.
Yuck.
And they fell 1 game short of the NFC East title, left them out of the playoffs. They are facing a Giants team, which, I always just think of sort of their offense, but their defense, they can get after it, Cakes. They signed Brian Burns. They've got 35 sacks. You know where that
Dexter
ranks?
Lawrence is number 1 in the NFL.
You know where that ranks?
It's got to
Number
be
1.
Yeah, it's up there.
Lawrence
Yeah.
has 9 sacks
Le-
from the middle.
Dexter Lawrence
Dexter Lawrence has 9.
gets double teamed more than any player in the league.
He's the new Aaron Donald.
75% of the time.
There
he's
is some good news that Kayvon Thibodeau will miss this game. I know that some people feel like he only has big games against us.
Right.
He kind of like shows up as
look
like
at
a
his
Pro
splits
Bowler against us.
Yeah, his splits against the Commanders are pretty obscene.
That's how I feel about Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones also. Jason mentioned that Tyrone Tracy, their rookie running back, suffered a concussion last week. He's in danger of not playing. He went over 100 yards in 2 of their previous 4 games. He had 150 against Pittsburgh. So, hey, listen, we want everybody to be healthy, but maybe he should sit this one out.
Well,
Just wear
Devin
some sunglasses,
Singletary,
stay in a dark room, sit this one out.
Devin Singletary carved up the Commanders' defense in week 2. So I
Be
mean,
careful what you wish for,
he can get there too.
Defense is
Not
better.
just-
Defense playing better
Defense
than
is
Defense
playing
is
better
playing
than
better.
in week 2.
But this
No
is
doubt.
this is going to be tougher than it probably should be on paper.
Yep.